Okay, at Hertford County High School, we're a flex bone team in the tradition of Georgia Southern and the Naval Academy and Air Force. Our primary system is the inside veer, and we're going to run the base play is 12 and 13 option, and everything that we do comes off 12 and 13 option. Well, at the start, we're going to go over our formations. The first formation you're going to see is our spread formation. We call this spread set. And in spread set, it consists of double splits and double slots. Now, if you will, if you look at Nate number 12, that's the typical stance for a slot. We're going to have our inside foot back, feet up under our armpits. We're going to have our hands on our thigh pads, putting pressure, getting us in a ready position. We do this so that we have not only a third and fourth running back, but we also have a third and fourth receiver. Okay? If you go to the quarterback, our standard stance for a quarterback is we want his feet up under our shoulders. Get on the center, Dan. We want his feet up under his shoulders. You'll see he's down. He's got a bend in his elbow so that he can make adjustments. He's got his head up. He's tall, and that way he can see the whole defense. Now, if you look at our fullback, you'll see our fullback, Leon's in a three-point stance. We use more of an elongated stance. We keep his feet up under his hips so he can get out quickly. Get out quickly, because primarily in this offense, he's going straight ahead. We're a vertical option team, and I'll go into more detail about that shortly. All right, but he's got his hands weighted about 60-40, almost like an offensive lineman. And what we want him to do is to be able to hit the A gaps and B gaps as fast as possible. But also, he may have to go laterally on our trap options. All right, now if you pan out to our receivers, over here, number 9, we ask our receivers to line up at the top of the numbers. If he lines up at the top of the numbers, now he's a threat to go inside or outside, and that's our base alignment. We may adjust it based on what defensive tendencies are, but that's our base alignment. With our receivers, we want his inside foot up, want his weight balanced, we want his wrist above his elbows, and that way we can attack. Now, we do that because we want to give a vertical threat all the time. All right, pause. Formation, this next formation is called flight. And we call the flight formation because we have a flanker and a tight end and a slot and a split. The formation is always called to the flanker and tight end side. You'll see Quan, our flanker, is going to line up just like the split. He's going to be at the top of the numbers, inside foot up, wrist above his elbows, and an attacking stance to give us a vertical threat. Because we have a tight end and Buck Jenkins, if you look at Buck, Buck's in a three-point stance. He's ready to get vertical. His feet are balanced so he can down block laterally, or he can get upfield, or if he has to, we can arc him up to the number 3, and we'll talk about what the numbers mean later. For the fullback and the slot and the quarterback, their formations are the same. Again, this is flight, right, and we'll call the formation to the tight end side. All right. This next formation is our sling formation. Sling is a tight end and a wing to the call. We always call it to the tight end side. This formation now that you see with Quan at the wing and Buck at the tight end is sling right. The other guys, the fullback, quarterback, the backside slot, and the split, all align the same as they do on our spread set. And again, we use the names sling and flight to designate where the tight end and the other and where the other slot goes. All right, awesome. All right, also in our spread set, we name our athletes. The quarterback is just the quarterback, but our right slot back is called the rabbit. Our left slot back is called the lizard, and our fullback is called the frog, okay? And that's the name, we use that to designate the motions that we're going to incorporate. We'll call a position, we'll call rabbit or lizard, and then we'll go left or right to designate the motion we give in our jet motion package. All other motions are automatic. The motions off the options are automatic, and they're all orbit motion, full speed. There's no half speed motion in this offense. This formation is our wishbone formation, and we'll run our wishbone either from double tight or from a tight right and a split left. Move out trail. And that's to take a guy out if they've got a corner that's an exceptional athlete. We want to get them away from the run support. We'll run this formation back in, and we can flip that to the other side. We go into our wishbone package when we want to run the clock, or when we feel like the power game benefits us more than our flex bone finesse game. The fullback is at his regular depth, which is toes 3.5 yards from the heels of the quarterback. The two halfbacks or the slots come in, the rabbit and the lizard come in, and they are 1 yard back off the heels of the fullback, and their fingertips should meet right on his midline of his body. All right. This formation is called our power set. And in our power set, we take the rabbit and the lizard, and we line the rabbit up, or the halfback to the call up behind the offensive tackle. We bump our fullback over behind the offensive guard, and we let the backside slot go to tailback. Our tight end is on a power set. We can also run this from unbalanced. What we do is we also take our split end, our backside split, and we leave him wide. Again, this takes one of the other team's better athletes out to cover him one-on-one, but it gets us man coverage and a chance to go with some quick route if necessary. But this is our formation we use on our short power running game, or again, when it's advantageous for us to use a power game instead of our finesse game. This formation is our dodgeball formation, and we use this in our 2-minute offense, or when we're trying to move the ball fast or exploit matchups in the passing game. In our dodgeball set, we'll put the quarterback at 4 yards directly behind the center in a ready position. You'll notice his stance. He's got his feet staggered, his hands ready to catch the ball, and we'll snap the ball on cadence as opposed to a knee lift. All right, our fullback. Our fullback splits the difference between the offensive tackle and the offensive guard to the side of the call. We'll designate call either dodgeball right or dodgeball left. Our receivers, our splits are still at the top of the numbers, and we take our slots, and our slots split the difference between the offensive tackle and the receiver in a 2-point stance, just as he would if he were a single receiver. This is our dodgeball set. While we're on the dodgeball formation, we also designate our routes, and we use a number tree like most schools, 0 through 9, 0 being a block, and the rest of the numbers designating the routes. We call our pass routes left to right, outside in. For example, if we wanted to run 23-23, then what we would do is our left receiver would run a 2, the left slot would run a 3. Then our right widest receiver would run a 2, and our right slot would run a 3. All right, and that's our dodgeball set. We're now going to talk about our whole numbering system. All right, in our offense, the even numbers are to the right, the odd numbers are to the left. For our purposes, the guard tackle gap is the 0 hole. Is the 2 hole. Don't worry about it. For our purposes, the right leg of the center is the 0 hole out of there. All right. For our purposes, the right leg of the center is the 0 hole. The gap between the center and the guard is the 2 hole. The gap between the guard and the tackle is the 4 hole. Off tackle is the 6 hole, and anything outside wide is the 8 hole. Conversely, the left leg of the center is the 1 hole. The center guard gap is the 3 hole. The guard tackle gap is the 5 hole. Off tackle is the 7 hole, and anything out wide is the 9 hole. And that's our whole numbering system in our offense, and that applies to every formation and every play that we run. We're now in spread set, and we're going to talk about the offense. And the first play we're going to talk about is our inside veer series, or 12 series, 12 and 13 option. In 12 and 13 option, the quarterback is a true option in which the quarterback is going to read the first man touching the tackle on the line of scrimmage. And we designate him as the number 1. In this offense, if a quarterback can count to 3, he can run this offense and we can win. Okay, the number 1 defender is the first guy on the line of scrimmage of the defense touching the offensive tackle. The number 2 defender will be the next immediate threat on or off the line of scrimmage. And then the number 3 defender will be the support guy, either a strong or free safety or an outside backer in a 3 linebacker set. Now, in reading the option on 12 and 13, the fullback is going to dive right off the outside leg of the offensive guard. Let's start with the quarterback now. The quarterback's in his stance, balanced stance. He's going to take the snap from the center, and then he's going to step 4 o'clock, keeping his eyes on his number 1 read. As he reads the number 1, the quarterback is going to give the football to the fullback unless he's forced to pull it. And anytime we say that, what we want him to do is, whenever he's confused, he's going to go with his prior read, he's going to give the ball to his fullback, and that's 12 option. Also, I need to tell about our cadence. Our cadence is a fast cadence. Our cadence is ready, set, go. If we want to double it or go on 2, he'll repeat the cadence. Ready, set, go. Ready, set, go. Now, on 12 and 13 option, our slots in 10 and 11 option, 12 and 13, our slots lead, go in motion on ready. Our center is going to snap the ball on the T sound and set, whether it's the first T in the first set or in the second set if it's on 2 or multiple counts. All right, let's line it up again, guys. 12 option. All right, again, we're going to walk through, Leon. Yeah, do the cadence on 1.
Ready, let's go.
Okay, stop there. As you can see, we want a good mesh between the fullback and the quarterback. Once the quarterback is on, the ball's at his front leg, he's going to make that decision then. Either it's going to be a pull because the number 1 read has stepped through. The number 1 read has stepped through and come down and met the fullback. Hopefully what we want from the fullback then is to move the crowd. He wants him to move the pile backwards so that our quarterback can get vertical. And again, we're a vertical option team. Thanks, guys. Step back. We're a vertical option team. That's why we want to give it to the fullback unless they make him pull it. And we want to keep the ball unless they make him pitch it. Now let's talk about the pitch read. All right, step back to the mesh, guys. Okay, we're at the mesh. He's got a pull read. And now these guys go directly from the number 1 to the number 2 guy. If that number 2 comes, Danny's going to pitch the ball. All right, he's going to pitch it. We don't use a big thumb flip. We just want a soft chest pass pitch to give him something easy to handle. Our slots are running full speed to get as much width as we can. We actually want to pitch the ball laterally. We want to pitch it forward if we can, if it's still beyond the line of scrimmage. Again, Danny's going to keep the ball unless the number 2 makes him pitch it. But when he pitches it, that's our home run ball. That's our fade route in this offense. Thanks, guys. Hustle back. Now, filming. All right, now, let's talk about the blocking assignment. The quarterback and fullback are responsible for the number 1 read. The quarterback and pitchback are responsible for the number 2 read. And the slot, or the play side slot, is responsible for the number 3 read. We're going to take our rabbit here on 12 option, and he's going to arc release and not get held up at the line of scrimmage by the defensive end. Let's step Quan. And as he's rounding off there, he's going to look for the safety. When he gets to the safety, he wants to widen his base. When he gets to the number 3, he wants to drop his inside shoulder, and he wants to try to rip that forearm up through that inside crotch. Let's see you do it one time, Quan. And don't rip out coach's crotch. But he's going to drop his inside shoulder. He's going to rip with that inside arm as low as he can. He's going to be a little lower than that and maintain outside leverage. All right, thanks, Quan. We're always going to block for the pitch. We want to block for the pitch. Let's pan out the buck on the receiver. Now, for the receivers in 12 and 13 option, we have some options there for their blocking things. We can actually crack back with the number 1 on the number 3 and pull the slot out to block the corner. But if we've got a favorable matchup, and we always have them when you got a big receiver like Buck, he's going to win that battle with the corner most of the time. So what we want Buck to do is to take up on the line of scrimmage aggressively, just sprint out real quick, a couple steps. All right, he's going to settle down. He's going to get his hands inside the target. He's going to keep his feet live. His feet are going to be moving. Let's go show fast, full speed, Buck. Show him what he got. Get your feet moving. And he's going to stay engaged. And we're going to let the slot back, thanks, Buck. And we're going to let the pitch back make the decision to where he goes on that play. All right, that's our inside veer. Now, one thing we need to point out with the motion. All right, Nate, you need to do this full speed. Let me see you do it once. Cut it off, coach. Okay, one point I want to add is about how we do our motion. Our slot back is going to leave on ready. And when he goes, he's going to try to aim for the heels of the fullback. He's going to aim for the heels of the fullback. That's his aiming point from his stance. You're a little deep. So, all right, thank you, Nate. Now, let's call the cadence, Danny. Let's run it one time. And we're going to focus on Nate's motion through, and he's going to try to get as wide as he can through his motion. Ready for the pitch.
Ready, let's go.
All right, and as you can see, again, we're a vertical option team. When Nate catches that thing, we want him getting upfield as fast as he can. All right. All right, we're now going to talk about our midline option series, or 10 and 11 option. We're going to run it. We've got a good tight end in our program, so we'll primarily run this year from what we call a flight formation. And in flight, we have a tight end and a flanker to the call. Now, on 10 and 11 option, the fullback's route is going to be directly through the midline of the ball. The quarterback is going to step opposite the play, keeping leverage downhill, keeping his eyes focused on the number 1 read. The number one read in 10-11 option will be a 3 technique. We're going to read the 3 technique. If that 3 technique closes down, if he's here and he closes down on the fullback, the quarterback's going to pull it and replace the 3 technique, getting vertical as soon as he possibly can. Once he crosses the line of scrimmage, he's going to look for the cutback, picking up the backside tackle's block, and he's off to the races. It's been a very good play for us. All right, the motion is the same for the backside slot in this. Although we run motion with him and it's a pitch route, this is a double option. We're not going to pitch off 10 and 11. All right, on 10 and 11, the play side offensive tackle is going to turn out on the 5 technique. We're going to turn out on the 5, and we're going to try to turn out on the 4 and get them out. From our flight formation, the tight end is going to step inside the tackle's block, and he's going to hunt up the first opposite color, probably a linebacker or a stunned safety of somebody of that nature, but it'll be a second-level player. And what we want to do then is create that alley for the quarterback to get vertical if we can, or to hit the cutback if we have to. All right, step back. Thanks, Buck. Now, let's look at it one time. All right, yeah, let's walk through it. The play is flight right, 10 option, on 1.
Ready, let's go.
And as you see, the alley opens up, fullback's going to keep running his track. And again, we want the fullback to move the crowd. He has to hit that thing with force. Okay? And the center, he'll be blocking back unless he's covered with the nose guard, and then he'll take the nose. We can also run our midline from our spread set, with the slot coming inside, making that inside out blocker, that fan block, with the tackle turning out. Again, on the snap, the tackle's going to turn out on that 5 technique. That slot's going to come inside, and he's going to look to block the first opposite color. He's going to come low, he's going to be aggressive, and he's going to ISO that opposite color. And the quarterback's going to read it. All right, let's look at it. Let's run through it one time from spread set.
Ready, let's go.
All right, pause it. Now, as you can see so far, everything in our offense is predicated on looking like the inside veer. We want everything to look like 12 and 13 option. This next play that comes off well off the option is our counters, and we call them lizard counter right and rabbit counter left. What we're going to show you now is rabbit counter left off 12 option. Everything looks just like 12 option. Let's step through it, guys. Okay? All right, Nate's going to go in motion on ready. Nate's going to go in motion on ready. Fullback's going to dive 12 route. Danny's going to stick the full ball into the fullback, and then going to hand back to our rabbit coming back around, and he's going to pick up the pulling guard. Now the guard is going to pull. When I step, Dave snap the ball and then step across out the way. The guard's going to pull. Going to just snap it to Danny now. When I say snap, snap. He's going to pull, all right, and he's going to kick out the first man outside of the 4 technique or 5 technique. We want to kick out that last man on the line of scrimmage. Now what we want the rabbit to do is to find that guard's tail, cut up inside that guard, and run to daylight. All right, let's watch it real quick. Let's see how it looks. All right, let's walk through it. Walk through, guys. Spread set. This is spread set, rabbit counter left on 1.
Ready, let's go.
Okay, very good, very good. And as you see, again, Quan's hitting off that guard's block, and he's getting vertical. Hustle back. Let's look at lizard counter right. Again, everything looks just like 12 and 13 option. Lizard counter right is going to look just like 13 option. On 1.
Ready, let's go.
And he's going to cut up. Good job, Nate. Nate's ordinarily a receiver, so this is new territory for him. Good job, guys. All right, pause it. All right, we're now going to look at our play action passing off 12 and 13 option. And what we do is we run a flood route off 12 and 13 option. The fullback's going to dive his route. The backside slot, who's ordinarily the pitch man, is going to be a flare receiver. He's going to keep getting wide as he can. If he runs out of territory, when he gets to the top of the numbers, or the bottom of the numbers, he's going to get vertical. The number 1 receiver, Buck, is going to run a fade route. He's going to push that guy up the field. The number 2 receiver on 12 option pass, or the rabbit, is going to do a 5-yard out. He's going to arc release, Step up, Quan, just like you do. Just step up. He's going to arc release, like he's going to block. He's going to get up here, then he's going to get out in the depth to a depth of 5 yards in the flat, looking over his outside shoulder, and we're going to hit him right there. All right, good job. Thanks, guys. Now, it's the same thing in the opposite direction. That would be 12 option pass. Going in the opposite direction would be 13 option pass. Okay, let's step to it one time, guys. 13 option pass. Quan's going to be the flare route. This time Nate will be 5 yards in the flat, and Latrell is going to be the fade route. Walk to it on 1.
Ready, let's go.
Very good. Now, what we do with the backside receivers, we'll play with this route. If he's got a guy that we know we can beat deep, that backside receiver will run a fade or a post. He'll come out and stalk, and we want him to mix it up so that we can come back to this later with a backside play. Also to the front side, though, we can run it as a wheel route, and we'll call it 12 wheel pass. On 12 wheel pass, the number 1 receiver will run a post. The backside slot will be the flare, and Quan, or the rabbit, the play side slot, is going to do a wheel. He's just going to take right off, arc like he's going, he's just going to stay outside. You know how to do the wheel route like we did, JB. All right, yeah. Now you're out wide and coming outside of Buck. Buck's going to come inside. All right, let's snap it and walk through it real quick, guys, so it can be seen. All right.
Ready, let's go.
All right. Now, Quan, we're out of space here, but Quan's going to be more vertical. He's going to get on up the sideline, and that's wide open. Now, on the wheel route, if we call 12 wheel, we are looking to set up the backside post to the backside receiver. Because if that safety runs over top to check the wheel, that backside post is either man coverage or no coverage. And that's always open for a big play for us. All right. All right, in addition to our option game, we do have a power package out of our spread and out of our sling formations and our flight formations. And our basic play out of this is our power pitch. In our power pitch, we're going to G-block play side. The play side guard is going to pull and kick out the last man on the line of scrimmage. Our tight end Buck's going to block down, step down Buck. The slot, the wing is going to block down. And what we're going to do is create a wall. Keep coming, Nate. Come on down. The pulling guard is going to pull and kick out the last man on the line of scrimmage. And our pitch back, step, Leon, go. You go. Fullback's going to block inside out on the go, outside of Buck, outside of them. And then we're going to pitch it to our backside slot. Pitch one down so he can run the route. And what you get is a seam between the tight end and the wing and the guard and the fullback. And that's been a very good play for us with LaMarcus and Quan here at Hertford County. And it's been a good play for us before we got here. All right. But also off that play is a big home run play for us, and it's called fake power pitch, bootleg pass, and we can run it either way, either sling right or sling left. What you're about to see now is sling left, fake power pitch, bootleg pass right. Now on bootleg pass right, what we're going to get is we're going to get a 7 route or a post corner out of our number 1 receiver. Step to it one time, Trail. He's going to bring him in hard just like he's coming to get that safety. Then he's going to break that thing back outside, and he's going to get as much depth and width as he can on that corner route. All right, from the tight end, we're going to get a drag route. He's going to step down just like he does on power pitch. Go, Buck. And then he's going to try to find the hole either before or behind the linebackers and try to get in Danny's face. The home run play comes from the backside slot, or the play side slot, the wing. When the lizard comes down, he's going to step down just like he did on power pitch. Let's step, Nate. He's going to step down just like he did on power pitch. On the count of 2, he's going to break vertical, and he's going straight up the field. And what happens, Danny, after he comes out of his boot, the quarterback comes out of his boot route, we try to hit this guy backside. All right, let's run through it one time, guys. Danny, let's look at your boot route. What we want to do with Danny is after he pitches the ball, after he fakes the pitch, we want to exaggerate that fake, give him a big step. Then we want him to get as deep and as wide as he possibly can on his boot route. Let's look at it one time, Danny. Just your boot route. Step out the way, Leon. All right, go. And he's going to get as deep and as wide as he can. Very good. And we want him to attack downhill. Danny's a very good runner, and we want him attacking downhill in this. If you got a good runner at quarterback, this is a great, great play because now he stresses the defense both vertically in the passing game and with the threat of the run. All right, let's run through it one time, guys. Just half speed. The play is sling left, fake power pitch, bootleg pass right on 1.
Ready, let's go.
Yep, looking good, and there you go. When you've got a big target like Buck and good receivers outside, this is a great play for you to run. All right.
Space in front, so I got to try to hit it.
Now, with our line splits, we're going to take 3-foot splits between the center and the guard, 3-foot splits between the guard and the tackle, and if we have a tight end, we want to get a 3 or 4-foot split between the guard, the tackle, and the tight end. Get a little wider, Buck. Because what we're trying to do is create running lanes. Get Nate, slide out, son. Stay in position. There you go. Good job. We want to create running lanes for our backs. And what this does is it facilitates that. Also, the wider distances change pursuit angles for the defense. And whereas it looks like they got a shot to get a guy, because they have to travel farther to get there, it gives them bad pursuit angles, and it helps us on breaking the big play. All right. Okay, now, you've got a basic idea of what we do on offense with our offense, and we're going to show you some footage at this point of the offense in action, our midline option, our inside veer package, as well as our power package, and then some dodgeball. We did fast bear one game.
What?
But I wouldn't let you do it from the gun. I made y'all get on the set. Who was it?
We ain't doing that with the Edison thing.
No, the Nash. He went downfield.
No,